Okay, we're good to go. Hey, Craig.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
All right.
You're good. You're good, Keith.
Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody. I think as everybody or most everybody knows, Chairperson Diane is in Africa again this January. So I'm acting, David, just make a record. I'm acting as chair just for this meeting. And with that, as my understanding is that since I'm just acting as chair, my vote can count toward a quorum as opposed to the normal chair. So we do have a quorum with 4 out of 6 members here today. Appreciate everybody joining. Just a brief update there. So glad we have a quorum. The second item number 2 on our agenda is just a review and approval of the December meeting minutes. If we want to take just a second for folks to think about that, if you've already reviewed or any quick review, we'll give it just a minute here, and then I'll ask for someone to do a motion for a vote to approve it.
Looks good to me. I move to approve the minutes as
Okay.
written.
Anybody second? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Robert seconds. All in favor, say yes or raise hands. Okay, we got
David.
everybody. David, you approve?
Yes.
Okay, we have all 4 approval, Davin. All right. See, Blaine, we have you on the call today. As you may know, Diane is in Africa, so I'm just acting as chair here today. Welcome to our meeting. So moving on, item number 3, Mike, we're going to turn it over to you for your normal reports. Several items there. Go
All
ahead.
right.
Are you ready?
Well, thank you. So here we've got December 2021. Had a very good month for December. We had some good activity. We had football season, of course, and then also some basketball. As of now, we've got basketball going a lot. We've got Delta's flying a lot of 717s, which is unusual. This is the first year they really started doing 717s for basketball, and this is opposing teams, not the UGA. So we're getting a lot of 717s. We had a 737 come in last night and leave out. I think that was an opposing team too. So we're making some good money on that as far as landing fees, ramp fees. So December reflects that. So let's look at our revenues. We've had a good fuel month with Avgas, good fuel month with Jet. Avgas still down. Of course, you know, general aviation, being a pilot, and I know David knows too, and Craig, you know, you really don't want to get out there in cold weather and pre-flight your airplane, and you know, you don't get warm till that heat comes on, you know, somewhere down the runway. But so it's hard to get general aviation out when it's so cold. We had some weather days also in December, so that's the reason for GA. Leases, just normal leases. That's different there because when we had our meeting, I'll let Keith know that the lease for Hanson, land lease, didn't hit last month. So it hit twice, so December reflects that. And then airport fees, as you can see, that's the ramp fees, the landing fees, with all the activity we've had. That also includes, you know, the games that were here as well. And then the credit card charges. And then you come to cost of goods sold, Avgas, Jet, you know, they're in line with our revenues. I think we might have had, looks like we might have had one, no, I think that 32 is one sale. I mean, one load rather of Avgas. Let's see, the rest of it's pretty much in line. Which so the revenues we have is 304,000. Total expenses 243. We made $60,000 in December. Of course, that doesn't reflect, and I always say this, for those that are kind of new, it doesn't reflect the depreciation, or the loans that we have. But as far as the raw revenues versus expenses, that's that number there. So we're looking pretty good. And then, I'll go back up here for the year to date. You can kind of peruse that a little bit and see where we are, close to 9 million, 1.5, and we're ahead 377,000 right now. Coming on down, you can see the avgas gallons that we had, the history since July. Again, down because December's a tough month for general aviation. And then Jet A gallons. If you look at October and November, those are our great months, really. We have home games then. We're making good revenue from the folks that fly in. And but on average, you can see 37. Well, July started 29,000, August 37, September 37. So, if you look at December, which is more of a normal month for jet, 39, 38. And then again, October, November being really our best months through the year. And then operations down, mostly because of the cold. Any questions? I'll go over here just so you can see some of the graphs, kind of get an idea where we're headed. This is operations here. Well, make sure, yep, operations. And then and we've got, go up here. Got the fuel sales, Jet A here, and the graph, and then down here we've got avgas. Right. Any questions on that? Alrighty, I'm fine. As far as capital improvement projects updates, we've still got some projects out there. We've got the Schedule C project, which is our localizer project, and we've had Navcom working on the localizer antenna array, and then also the equipment that's in the shelter where all the equipment is out there. They're working on that as well, and they've because of the cold weather and the holidays, they've kind of stopped working out there as far as the construction side, but they're coming back in the 1st of February to finish everything up, tie it in, get rid of the old antenna, which will probably be without a localizer for I don't know how long, probably just a couple weeks while things work out until we get the final flight check from FAA. But we'll get rid of the old localizer, de-energize that first, take out the old shelter with the old equipment in it, and then we need to hook up a new line to that line because that serves our PAPI, which is our navigation lighting system for approach. And then we'll go over and hook up the new system, get that burnt in, then have a flight check on it. Is that about right, Chris? Am I saying it right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. And then, coming over to Schedule A, so that's Schedule C. So Schedule A, if you remember, is the Taxiway Alpha project from the midfield west, and that's Schedule A. And so they hadn't really been doing a whole lot of work out there because it's been cold, and of course we found some rocks. So they're trying to work on that a little bit. And then Schedule B is the midfield east, and so that's also still going to be worked on as well in the future coming up. So the cold weather's kind of slowed us down big time, along with the rock that we found. And So we may have to do some blasting, and that's something that we had a meeting with a contractor yesterday. I was going to get with you, Blaine, and see if maybe you had time to come out here. I want to show you around a little bit, kind of fill you in on what's going on with the project, because some things have come up with the rock, and there's a water line out here as well that's higher than it needs to be, and we need to lower it. So I don't know. We're talking with GDOT. We're talking with, of course, Holt. And that kind of thing. So just kind of want to fill you in as to what's going on. But I'll call you. We can arrange a time to meet. And so that's the project there. 220, Holt's doing the design right now. And that's coming along pretty good. Where RS&H probably do the construction phase services on that. And we'll be moving. I think we're on track. Have you talked to purchasing, Chris? Is everything good with them as far as opening bids?
Yes, they were good with those dates of advertising, beginning of March, bid opening, very last of March.
Okay, good. GDOT put some pressure on us to get that done because they have the funding. Hoping to have the funding available June or July. So we're kind of under the gun and kind of on their time frame for the 220 project. That's all I had on that. Any questions? All right, as far as marketing and outreach, I've been working some with the chamber a little bit, at least communicating with the chamber, with David Bradley. There's I guess there's a new truck company just south of us that'll be employing a lot of people, and I think that would be a great marketing tool for us when we're talking to these airlines. My understanding is that we're closer than Atlanta from that point in social circle where they'll be, and so I'm getting some information, and David's getting that together for me. Also, in March, I'll be going to Air Service Development Conference, the Meet and Hunt one, and that's in Tucson. That's where I'll meet up again with American, United. I think we're going to meet with Allegiant and Sky West. But last time, if you remember, last time I talked to American, which was a couple months ago, it was the lady who's in charge of American in Charlotte, at the Charlotte hub. And she said, that the year 2022 would be their year of kind of getting their internal organization back together. And then 2023, they would be looking at us. And one of the things that and I know I repeat myself some, but I don't know who heard it or not, but one of the things that we're looking at was Columbus, before they came here. And they did go to Columbus several months ago. They wanted to make sure it was successful. And I've heard from American, and I talked to Amber, the airport manager at Columbus, and both say it has been successful so far. So that's a good sign for us moving forward with American. So as long as that stays on that trend, I think we've got a good chance. So I'm anxious to talk to them in March to see where things stand as well. I will say this, Davin he knows everybody in town, which is really good. I mean, the guy knows everybody, but I might let him talk a little bit about this since I'm talking about air service development. He knows a guy who knew a guy, right? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Michael Rips, who's here in town, is one of the owners of Jittery Joe's Coffee, went to Vanderbilt and went to school with a guy and is very good friends with Ted Phillips, who is the chairman of the board of United Airlines. And Ted did not come up through the airline industry, but he's now the non-executive chair of the board. And Michael made an introduction, and we were able to have a conversation with Ted about commercial service here in Athens. And so he asked some very good questions Of course, I didn't know any of the answers to those, but Mike did, thank goodness. We were able to send him a market research that was specifically designed for United. And then, you know, he kind of told us of what their challenges are at this point in time. And really, it's just the demand for planes and pilots is very high, and it is hard for them to get planes and pilots. So he was going to forward those on to his folks, and I have not heard back from him. Michael Rips is coming out for a tour of the airport tomorrow, and so hopefully we'll get an update tomorrow as to any feedback that he may have gotten from Ted. So, you know, just another avenue, another possibility.
Yeah.
That's all I've got.
And that was great because we had the market study that when I talked to United, goodness, that was probably 8 months ago, I guess, when I talked to United. We had the market study from eight months ago, and I had it in the file. So what we did, we just copied it off and just sent it right to him. I mean, you know, it was like the next day we had it right there for him and all the information he needed. So I don't know where that's going to go, but you know, anytime you can get anything in front of anybody like that, that's a win-win. So we're still working on things. As far as the ClearPoint, well, I will say this: as marketing and outreach, I think Jeff Montgomery, who's our public information officer for ACC, he's got some high school leadership folks, and I guess through the chamber. And they'll be coming, I think they'll be coming in February. There's about 50 of them. And so we'll have them for about an hour to talk to, and then they'll have lunch here at the airport. And then they'll move on, you know, to other things that might have transportation day that day. I'm not sure. So we'll be talking to them as well. So moving on, the ClearPoint data system. Davin's going to go to training on that. And once he goes to training, we can start working through that again. We have a few updates we need to make on that. And then the in-person meeting update. I don't think we'll be meeting in person for a little while. There's still some issues going on as far as, you know, COVID and maybe Blaine knows more about that. But I don't see anything in the future where we'll be meeting in person, you know, unless we're able to do it the next few months, but I don't know. Let's see, and then I think that's all I have.
All right, anybody, any questions? Any other questions for Mike? Mike, Davin, I vaguely remember you mentioning maybe last meeting, in the December meeting, how long the ClearPoint training is. Roughly, is that like a few months or?
I don't think so. Angela went through it, and it was more like a day. It wasn't very
okay.
long. I mean, it wasn't very long at all.
Okay.
It's just maneuvering around it and really how to delete and add information. I mean, it's really easy once you get to know it.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right, next, old business. The first item, Lexington Highway projects. Normally Diane obviously gives the update here since she's involved in that committee. And really the only thing, and she passed this along to me, is that the team is still doing data accumulation, data collection. They're still in that phase. So no updates yet with that. Hopefully we have a different update in a month or two. Then Clarke County School District and Bennett's Airport outreach opportunity. Robert, can we turn it over to you for?
Sure.
Updates? Yeah.
And really, I have little to no update because of the COVID situation and what's taking place in the schools as far as visitors in and them going out and visiting places. So everything is really still on hold until we get a better grasp of this COVID situation and people are able to come and go as flexible as they have been in the past. But I continue to send a message every now and then to the Clarke County School District to let them know that, you know, the airport is still operating and in business and we look forward to them visiting. So that's all that's taking place.
All right. Appreciate it, Robert. Then the last item under old business is the fiscal year 2021 annual report, which we really have basically complete at this point. And so I'm going to turn it over to, and I know Robert, I'm sorry, Davin and Mike Davin sent out a copy of what's basically the final one. I think there's one little tweak in there Davin is doing. Davin, Mike, I'll turn it over to you guys to give kind of a brief update and take any questions.
Okay, I'll let Devin take care of that. He's worked on it hard, done a good job on it, I think.
Yep.
Well, we've had a good person help us with layout and design and really make it very professional. I appreciate the feedback that everyone has given. I don't know, do you want me to, share it real quickly? Is there any need to look at it?
Does anyone, I know you sent it with the attachment before, and we've gone over it a few times, and we've incorporated best that I think that everybody could, the input that, the good input that the members had and everything. I mean, my thought is unless any of the members want to see it, they could still review it or maybe have reviewed it unless you want to go through it here. Unless someone mentions you want to go through it, I'd say we probably move on, but Craig or David, Robert, anybody, any thoughts? Okay,
I thought it looked great. I reviewed it before the meeting. It looks good, I thought.
sounds good.
Well, our plan is to have copies printed, get that done. So that is in the works and should be happening or beginning to happen this week. We also have got a web document, so we'll be able to upload that to our website and share that with anybody digitally. And then lastly, the graphic designer was also able to take the annual report and put it into landscape slides so that if we take it and use part of it as a presentation, say to Rotary or to the chamber or to whoever else might be interested in it, we'll be able to show that well on a computer screen, which is landscape. So I think it's good, and I appreciate everybody's help with it as well. And I'm happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Davin, just one question. Speaking of landscape or orientation, the one that's going to be posted for the on the website, will it be landscape? Since that I think kind of tends to go better with most screens.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think Allison had put it in portrait, but I certainly can go back to her and we can make it in landscape and maybe even just make both of those options available for how folks want to view it.
Sounds good. Any questions? Anybody? Anything else for Davin or Mike or us? All right, sounds good. Going on to the next topic, new business. The only thing we had, got kind of a light schedule in this meeting. The only thing we had under new business was airport events. And what I was going to do here is just ask David, maybe also or Craig. Maybe David, you can start us out, or either one of you, about anything going on with the at the airport, any club meetings, things like that you could update us about, including what may be coming up. David, Craig.
Well, I know the EAA chapter meetings are in somewhat of a limbo situation because of the whole COVID thing. So, and I don't know I know that the UGA club, I'm sure David's been talking with them about, they're going to resume the hot dog thing, I think. Is it next month or in the spring?
Okay, he can. Okay, so I can answer that. It doesn't sound like he
Okay.
has audio. So they did meet on Saturday. I heard that there were about 6 airplanes that flew in. It was really cold, so there wasn't quite as many. But I don't know how successful they were, but at least they were here. They showed a presence, and I think everything went real well from what I hear.
All right, sounds good. Anything else on that? Anything else with events, David? Okay. All right, anybody any questions on the events? All right, next area is standing committees, updates and issues. Speaking for the business and finance, we don't really have any updates there. With that, at some point, I think we have it on our plans for this summer to begin working on or reviewing strategic plans with the airport, just if they need any updates. I think that's the normal process. Then next is operating, the operating team. Anybody, any updates on that one? See, we can't hear David.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, I can't ever get my video and my sound to work simultaneously. Everything Mike said, I was out there. It was actually a really nice day, but the weather early in the morning on Saturday was pretty overcast throughout the Atlanta area, and clouds moved out. It was a pretty chilly day. I think that scared a lot of people off from the hot dog event on Saturday. They do have one scheduled for the fourth Saturday again in February and in March. And there were 6-ish aircraft, sounds about right. There were, a few people. They were all from all over the place, though. That's kind of what's nice. People had heard about it. People had come up from Hampton, from Noonan, Peachtree City, so that's down south of Atlanta, different airports. A guy flew in an experimental from, he lives in an air park south of Atlanta. So it seemed like a bunch of people that knew each other said, hey, let's meet in Athens. And that's kind of what what we're going for. So I'd call it a success, but not quite as successful as some of the last fall events. I think their first meeting of the semester is tomorrow with the UGA club, and they're going to try to hit on all cylinders and do another scholarship building like they did last year, which kind of got the ball rolling for all of these sorts of. That's what I got.
All right, sounds good. We don't have any zoning items pending, right, David?
Nothing that's come across my email. So that's
good.
all off the table
Sounds
right
good. Now. All right. Last one is Air Services Development Marketing. I know Grant he had said in advance he wouldn't be able to make the meeting today. So, but Mike, I think you went through this. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I will add this too, and I guess this could be outreach, but it's also ASD. I do have a meeting with the economic development folks next week. We're going to talk about the airport. We're going to start getting together and marketing some things, and then also, let's see what date I have. I think it might be next week too. Have a meeting with Visitors Bureau with Katie Williams and Paul Kramer. We're just going to talk a little bit about the airport. Get everybody on the same page again, where we stand and where things are. So kind of get back in the groove of things, with ASD.
Sounds good. Just on that, when you were talking earlier about the truck plant at Social Circle, that's the Rivian plant, I believe.
Yes,
it's going to be huge. And with that, I know at Commerce, there's the huge SK car battery plant. Just a quick question, have you seen any airport activity or heard anything related?
I tell you what, we're getting a lot of freighters in lately, and they're becoming in the middle of the night. We've had two pretty large airplanes just within the last hour, where one of our maintenance shops actually handles the freight with his forklift. And so I'll find out where they're coming from. I think a lot of it's Caterpillar, and some of it might be that as well. Mm-hmm. But I think what I heard was Rivian plant. It's 55 minutes from Hartsfield, and I think we're like 45 minutes away from them. So and we could definitely, a lot less traffic, free parking. You get your bags checked in, fast. We could do a lot of selling, and that's what the airlines want to. That's what they want to hear. because every time I talk to them, they say, well, give us a list of all the manufacturers there. Because that's what they want to, it seems that's what they want to know, because that of course equals people and riderships and things like that. So this would definitely be a good sell for us since we're close. It would be closer to them than they would be to Atlanta. We'll definitely put that in the marketing, documents as well.
Sounds good. All right, item 7, other business. We've got one other item to vote on here, and that's where just the confirmation of the standing committee assignments. I think Diane said maybe engaged with you all, and there were really no changes, no expressions of interest necessarily officially anyway to move or as far as with committees. So it looks like the plan is to stay as is for this year with, let's see, the operations committee with David, Robert, and Craig. Marketing outreach is Grant with, I think Diane's also involved, and Mike is involved in all these, and then the finance with myself with Diane. So just wanted to, we have a vote to take here to approve that and just confirm that all the committees would stay with the same memberships and same chairs as they are. Before I ask for a motion for a vote on that, anybody have any questions or anything to add? All right, have a motion for a vote on this. Anybody want to make the motion?
So moved.
Okay, Craig made it. Second? Okay, David, second. All in favor, raise hands. So we got Craig, David, Robert, and myself. So we've got the 4. All right, appreciate that. And by the way, just speaking of other business, our next meeting is scheduled for February 22nd, 22. So it's 2/22/2022. And anyway, Diane is expected to be back just before that meeting. It could be possible because of COVID travel restrictions. She could be delayed. I'm going to be in Florida at the time, may not be attending, but I'll be working with Mike and Davin as usual beforehand to kind of review some things, and Diane put together a proposed agenda. But again, we'll be sending something out as usual before that meeting to see if anyone has items to add to the agenda for the February meeting. And we'll get continuing to get going here with the new calendar year. So anybody have any questions? Anything final before we adjourn? Mike, did we miss anything or anybody?
No, I know they were hoping for a longer meeting, but I'm sorry.
Well, everybody's smiling at that one. So, all right, Blaine, anything you wanted to add regarding airport or the city before we adjourn?
No, I really appreciate the job that Mike's doing. I think Davin's caught on fast, and I think they complement each other very well. I want to thank all you board members. I mean, this is a really great forward-looking group, and I'm very encouraged.
All right, appreciate it. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn? Anybody wants to raise a hand for motion? All right, David, anybody second?
Second.
Robert seconds. All in favor, raise hands. Got everybody? All right, we have all 4 in favor. All right, that's it for adjournment. Appreciate everybody showing up today and your involvement. Blaine, thanks for joining as well as everybody else. Appreciate your time here today, and we'll see you in about a month.
See you
Have
later.
a good day,
All right, have a good
everybody.
week.
See you.
Bye.